Welcome to Great Neighborhood Cooks. I'm your host, Rob Kircher. Each week I'm going to be knocking on the doors of amazing cooks who live down the street or around the corner. Who knows, maybe from your own neighborhood. For the most part, they're unsung cooks known mainly to their family and friends, or they might be cooks from that great little hideaway restaurant that we love to discover. Either way, their relative obscurity is about to change as I bring them into the spotlight. So who will be the next discovered great neighborhood cook? Well, stay tuned to find out. I'm here in Southwest Florida to meet up with an amazing cook who was a former appliance salesman, and now he's a reverend and he's also a marriage counselor. And I gotta tell you something, this guy is amazing, and his wife Lori. So let's go in and meet him, okay?
Hi,
how are you?
Good. How you doing? Come
Wonderful.
on in.
Well, thank you. I can't wait. Folks, you're gonna love this segment. I'm here with John and Lori, and I gotta tell you something. They are the most inventive cooks that I've run across in a long, long time. And you're going to be doing a really unusual dessert. What is it, John?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put an apple pie and we're going to put it inside of a cheesecake.
An apple pie inside of a cheesecake. Wow. Okay. So, John, let's start with the first thing. What do you do?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is put the cream cheese in. So this is actually 2.5 pounds.
2.5 pounds of cheesecake.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off actually with 3/4 of a cup of sugar.
Okay.
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 And we're going to beat this on medium speed.
Yeah.
A few minutes.
While we're waiting for that, let's talk about the crust. Okay.
Yes.
This is different.
Yes.
What do you use here?
So what I use is the Maria cookies by Goya.
And Lori's got a little sample there. Okay.
Yeah, so I use about 18 of those cookies in there, along with some butter, of course, to hold it together.
Did you already bake that?
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
And that bakes for 15 minutes in the oven. You take it out at 325 degrees.
All right, so now we've got that incorporated, right? What's the next thing you do?
Okay, so we're gonna add some salt.
Salt? Just like a teaspoon, maybe?
Yeah, no, actually only about 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is going to be 1/3 of a cup of sour cream.
Sour cream.
Okay. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Thank you, my lovely assistant.
Yeah, Vanna.
Okay. And some vanilla.
What's that, about a teaspoon or so?
These are two teaspoons of that, actually. Okay. And then we're going to beat this now on low speed.
Okay.
To combine it. And you can see though that the cheesecake is actually starting to come together a little bit.
Yeah, it is. This is definitely coming together.
Okay. So now I have also
Your
2 yolks.
2 yolks?
Yes. Now that's really to make sure though that you have some richness. And
sugar.
now the rest of the sugar goes in.
Okay.
Okay. And once again.
So it's definitely going to be sweet, right, John?
Yeah.
All right, so we're...
Okay, so we're going to stop this now.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you put the rest of your eggs in, right?
Yeah, well first I'm
So
going
what do you
to
add
I'm
in
just going to
the-
put 2 eggs in at a
2
time.
eggs. You add another couple?
You can then
huh?
put the other 2 eggs in.
Yeah. So in total, what do you got? 8 eggs in here or something like that?
Well, it's 6 whole eggs and 2 egg
2 yolks.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I just love them. I think you guys are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, really. And normally, by the way, at the end of the segment, we'll taste whatever we're cooking, and then we have we'll pair it with a glass of wine. In this case, we're going to be doing roasted coffee that they actually roast themselves. So that's another unique thing that this couple does.
Well, you know, there are a lot of people that feel that they could cook very well, but they don't. But they say that they can't bake very well because there are too many rules to the game.
Yeah.
And I say really that there are no rules to the game. You
Right.
create your own rules.
Right.
Okay. There's not that many people will put an apple pie inside of a cheesecake. So did I break the rules?
No, but that's the inventive part about you, though, John. Okay. At the Roma's Gourmet Market and Restaurant, they do things differently. They do it the authentic way. For example, why is their fresh homemade mozzarella the best you've ever tasted? Well, take a look at this. Well, it's because it's made slowly and lovingly, the way it's been produced for generations. It's the same with their incredible custom blended aroma wines. They go hand in hand. The art is in the pairing, like everything else thoughtfully prepared at DeRoma's Gourmet Market and Restaurant. It's Little Italy at the Promenade in Bonita Springs. Here's another one of Rob's food tips. You know, everyone is trying to cut down on their carbs, and this is a great way to substitute pasta with a vegetable by using a spiralizer. And this is something, by the way, you can have your kids help you with. It's fun, it's easy, and it's very, very healthy. So there you go, another one of Rob's food tips that is going to save you a lot of time and effort to get kids to eat vegetables. How about that? I'm here with Jim Gerard, who is the owner of Kitchens by Ambient. I got to tell you something, it's a beautiful kitchen. You're going to be very proud.
This is what it's all about, Rob.
I'd like you to meet the homeowner. This is Nadine.
Hi Nadine, how are you? Tell us a little bit about the experience that you had.
Now going over the design, and he's like, where do you want this? How many drawers do you want? How deep do you want? Where do you want? How do you do this? And I'm like, whoa, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted.
So they related well.
Very well. Really the kitchen of my dreams.
Wow, fantastic.
I love it, love it.
On September 10th, 2017, Hurricane Irma unleashed her fury and powerful winds on southwest Florida, leaving many homeowners in a state of dismay. I was one of them. Days turned into weeks, and that turned into months. Among the maze of promising roof contractors and so-called experts, one company stood out, ACC Mastercraft. And I want you to do me a favor. Folks, contact them. They're on Trade Center Way. They are unbelievable. They do two things that I was blown away by. One, they believe in service, and two, they believe in helping you. Can you imagine that? It's true. Contact them. It's the best thing you can possibly do for yourself. And when you do, I want you to call me and let me know how you make out, because they're unbelievable. Seriously. Folks, we're back from the break, and now we're going to have John and Lori actually incorporate the batter you just made, essentially, into your Goya Maria cookie crust base, right?
That's right.
And then you're going to put this apple pie on top.
That's right.
Well, let's see you do it. Come on.
Okay. This is the daring move. Well, the first thing that we have to do, though, just to make sure that the cheesecake comes out properly.
Now,
Okay.
watch this, folks. I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
This is amazing. Watch this.
Okay. So we pour our batter into the pan. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spread it out. You could do that there.
Vanna's going to spread it out. I call Lori Vanna, you know, like, anyway. So now goes the apple pie, right?
Yes, so now here's the tricky part. Okay, we're going to,
Now you got to slide this
now
in
we got
now.
to slide this in.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Wow, look at this.
all right. There we go.
Oh my goodness. Now, folks, you gotta take a look at this. I mean, this is just amazing. You okay? I mean, that is, that's incredible. Okay, now you put another layer on top of this, right?
Oh, absolutely. Make sure, though, that we get some on the sides so that it really cascades down.
I gotta tell you, I've never heard of this before, ever. And it looks so good. Now, the cook time is what it is, John?
So we're going to do this, well, what I call low and slow. So what happens is with this cheesecake, it'll bake actually at 200 degrees.
Can I help you a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. Be my guest.
All right.
It'll bake at 200 degrees
Uh-huh.
for about 3.5 hours.
Okay, let's pop it in the oven.
Yes.
And I can't wait for it to come out.
Absolutely.
How long was it in the oven, John?
3.5 hours
3.5 hours.
at 200 degrees.
At 200 degrees. Then what happened?
So then what I had to do was take it out of the oven.
Yeah.
And I cranked up the temperature to 475.
Okay.
Okay, put the cheesecake back in the oven, and that stayed in there for about 7 to 10 minutes.
Okay, the reason for doing that is what?
So this way here, though, you could have a nice, beautiful golden brown crust at the
Okay.
top.
So then you take it out of the oven, right? You put it on the counter and it rests for how long?
Has to rest for about 3 hours.
3 hours.
To get it down to pretty much room temperature, maybe slightly warm.
And then it goes back in the refrigerator for another, what, how many hours?
At least 6 hours.
6 hours.
That's
okay.
the hard part.
All right. So now Lori is going to bring the cheesecake out, and you can actually see what this thing looks like. Wow, look at this, folks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at the layers in here. And it almost looks like a creme brulee on top, doesn't it? I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, you could say
Wow.
that. Sure.
Okay, well, let's cut it up, because I can't wait to dive into this thing and
Me
and
neither.
sample it. Who's going to do the honors? Are you going to be doing the honors? Okay. I'm just going to ask this question, but how many calories do you think each one of those pieces would have?
I'd say about 1,000.
About 1,000
Yeah.
calories? Okay, look at this. Oh my goodness. Is that amazing or what? Wow. Wow. That is incredible.
Okay. That's the way you do it.
Yeah.
And then you get some apple
And then when it
and
gets the
some
crust,
cheese,
yeah. Right.
And some
all at the
crust.
same time, right?
Oh my God. Bravo, chef. That is amazing. Incredible.
Thank you.
Why do Hall of Famers like Mike Ditka choose Dr. Franz and Dr. Corinth for their cataract surgery?
I would recommend Franz Eye Care to everybody, anybody who has an eye problem. It's a quality of life. You want a quality of life, and you want your life to be as good as it can be. And if you can fix a problem that you have, why wouldn't you fix it? And Franz Eye Care fixed my problem totally. They just did an outstanding job.
Call 239-418-0999 or visit the website at bettervision.net.
Folks, I'm here with Francis J. Cuomo. He's the owner of Jerome's Gourmet Market. And Francis, every time I come in here, it's just bustling with activity. I love it.
Thank God. That's why we're here. We're here to feed people.
How many people do you get on a daily basis?
Well, it depends. Certain times of the year, like now, we average around 3,000 people a day on a Saturday and a Friday. Sundays, we close a little early at 6, and we average around 1,500 to 1,800 people a day on a Saturday. So it just keeps growing.
And people
the
love-
restaurant yesterday, about 1,100 people.
Really?
In the restaurant
Wonderful,
alone. That's
wonderful.
not including that.
Well,
So we're very
you've got
blessed.
that magic going for here.
Yeah.
You really do. It's the sight, the sound, the aroma, everything that
Yes.
you're so well known for.
I give God the credit. He gave me the energy and the foresight.
So, folks, if you really want to have a gourmet experience, you want to come to Jerome's Gourmet Market in Bonita Springs, and it's Little Italy right here in
Southwest Florida,
Southwest Florida.
our own creation.
At Jerome's Gourmet Market and Restaurant, they do things differently. They do it the authentic way. For example, why is their fresh homemade mozzarella the best you've ever tasted? Well, take a look at this. Well, it's because it's made slowly and lovingly, the way it's been produced for generations. It's the same with their incredible custom blended aroma wines. They go hand in hand. The art is in the pairing, like everything else thoughtfully prepared at Jerome's Gourmet Market and Restaurant. It's Little Italy at the Promenade in Bonita Springs.
Hey, look, come on.
Kids on the rocks again. Hey, you kids can't play here.
Not fun. Fun. Golisano Children's Museum of Naples. Fun.
Okay, we're in this little corner here, Rob, where they have some of the more high-end wines. This is an Amarone. It's from Italy.
I love that, by the
It's
way.
absolutely delicious. Goes great with
Yeah.
braised short ribs, anything like that. Fabulous bottle.
And again, the prices are pretty cool, are
They,
they? Right?
they are, yep.
Yeah.
Here's another Brunello. Delicious.
yeah.
This is a fabulous wine. Again, these are Italian, but she has some Californias.
All over the world, no doubt,
Yeah,
right?
all over. Just
Wow.
so, kind of fun. A great selection, whatever you're looking for,
All right.
she's got it.
Well, it's such a great place, and I'm glad we were able to spend a little time here, but we'll be back.
Absolutely.
So who will be the next discovered great neighborhood cook? Well, we're here in Southwest Florida, and we're going to meet a couple that have this amazing love of cooking, but they do it in a very different way. Let's go knock on the door. Come on. How are you?
Hey, Rob. Good to see you.
I'm Rob.
Come on in.
Hi, Rob.
Lani?
Hi.
Thank you.
Come on in.
So folks, this is the most interesting couple. You're going to love them. Not only are they known for their great cooking, but they also have amazing disciplines and different styles of cooking. Meet Lani and Art.
Hi.
So Lani, what do you specialize in? What kind of cooking do you do?
Well, I go all over the board. I really try to experiment on a lot of different things, sauces and a lot of things I can't get out at a restaurant, and I want to eat it myself. So I'll go just give it a try and see if I can make it.
Now, Art, what do you specialize in?
Well, they say Art's meat is a treat, and so I'll do all the grilling. I'll also do some interesting. All the Italian dishes are basically mine, being Italian from New York. I'll do a paella.
You know, I never would have guessed
Valenciana.
that with your, you got a little accent. I mean, I'm detecting Brooklyn. Am I right?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So.
All right, great. Well, what's the first thing we're going to do?
Well, we're going to do a rack of lamb tonight.
A rack of lamb,
yeah.
okay. All
So
right.
what we have here is a New Zealand rack of lamb, and it doesn't come this pretty
That is
plate.
beautiful, by the way.
It is
It's
now.
absolutely gorgeous.
But you know, it basically comes. There's a big batch of fat
Yep.
over it, and there's a bunch of silver skin. So you have to take a few minutes and take the fat off the bone and get all the silver skin off, so it's nice
And then you,
nice
what's it
and
called,
tender.
French dip, right?
This is French.
Yeah.
So you see the nice pretty bones.
Yeah.
And basically,
And so tell the folks about how long it took you to do that. Maybe, what, about 5 minutes?
now it takes me 5 minutes. Maybe your first time it's going to take you 20 minutes, but you know what? You could always ask the butcher to do it for you, and
Right,
it takes you no
right.
time. It'll cost you a few extra dollars,
Okay.
but it's not a big deal.
And then
So
the next thing you do what? Is what?
basically, you got to salt and pepper, and this is going to be seared and baked in the oven. So you got to do a good job of
So you
salting.
liberally apply the salt,
Very
right?
liberal.
Okay.
Salt and pepper. Here we go. And now, the key is you've got to get a really good sear on this rack of lamb. So this has got
When
to
you
be.
say sear, what temperature would you get to?
It's going to go in a skillet, cast
Yeah.
iron skillet that's been heated up,
Yeah.
and you're going to want to get it really hot, maybe 3 or 4 minutes on each side.
Okay.
Because they say brown food is good food.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's going to come out looking like
We have a little show and tell here, folks. This is
the
That's
seared.
what it
This
looks
is the seared version
Beautiful.
after it comes out, but it's not cooked yet.
And that's
Rob.
Okay.
This has still got to go in
Right.
the oven for about 18 minutes for a medium rare.
Right,
This is
okay.
going to go in the oven, but
Okay.
when it comes out of the oven, what really makes this good is the herb crust.
Okay.
The herb crust. So
Now-
I've got.
Now this is your mixture, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And I've experimented over and over again. We've got some nice
And
breadcrumbs.
you finally got it right, right?
You never get it right. You keep working and working, but I've got some nice breadcrumbs here, and I've got a mixture of mint, parsley, and tarragon, which is an unusual
It is
herb.
unusual.
But
It
I think the tarragon really adds flavor to the
Okay,
brings out the
wonderful.
flavor of the lamb, and some minced garlic.
Minced garlic. Oh, I love garlic.
And
you love garlic? Oh, I love garlic.
And you got to add, salt.
A little salt.
And people down here, they say they don't like salt, but yet when they come over my house, they
You're
say,
gonna add salt.
I love your food, Art. Why is it so
Yeah,
good? Because
yeah.
there's salt,
Yeah.
or there's butter,
It's called seasoning.
depending
right?
on what. And let me just get some olive oil.
Oh yeah, gotta have olive oil. Wonderful.
Okay.
Now you notice how he measures, folks. So he understands, how to do this.
There is a recipe that I'll give you, but most of this is by eye and touch.
Yeah.
But you want this to become like a paste.
Right.
And after this comes out of after the lamb comes out of the oven, we're going to apply this to the top of the
You're gonna coat the
coat it
rack.
and then
Yeah.
broil. But that's pretty much the texture or the consistency
That's
that you
perfect.
want.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then what do we have over here?
This mustard is going to go on top of the lamb
Okay.
after it comes out of the oven.
Perfect.
And this is
Okay.
going to first bring out the flavor of the lamb and then also let the breadcrumbs adhere to the
Right.
lamb.
And how do you cook your rack? Is it medium rare? What's the ideal way to cook a rack? Because people have problems with
But you got to get a good sear on it, as I said, right?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it goes in the oven. I like it to medium rare. I don't like it too rare. Lamb, we normally like our meat on the rare side, but
Yeah.
lamb has to be cooked a little bit more. I would say 18 minutes at 400 degrees.
Yeah.
Let it rest for 10 minutes. You've got to let it rest. Then apply the mustard and the herb breadcrumbs, and then let it broil until the breadcrumbs toast. And then you'll be golden.
Now, you're going to actually put this in the oven when we saw earlier. So while that's happening, Lani is going to help us do some other things that you got going on here, right?
Yes,
okay.
Rob.
So, Lani, while the rack is in the oven, you're going to be doing what?
Well, Rob, I'm making a Merlot sauce.
Merlot sauce. I love
Yeah,
that.
and it goes really good with the rack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already have your shallots cut, right?
I do, the sliced shallots.
And then you've got a pan here with a little coating of olive oil, correct?
Yes.
So in goes the shallots, right?
In go the shallots.
Okay. Now I love this because this is one of the things we talked about earlier, how Lani prepares things in advance and labels them. So here's a, so what have we got? 1.5 quarts of chicken broth for, what's RW?
Well, that's my little lingo for red wine reduction.
Ah, perfect, okay, all right.
I'll combine that.
I love that.
Okay, so the recipe calls for more garlic, or garlic.
Yeah.
Already have shallots.
So we got shallots, we got garlic, we got olive oil, which is wonderful.
And we saute that until it gets nice and brown. Not burnt, but just golden brown.
Okay.
Once that happens,
All right. Then you pour in your broth, right? Oh, you put a reduction. You give a little wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the good part.
Yeah, good part. Absolutely.
Try not to drink it while you're
I mean, you can if you want. Yeah, you can. So you put in what? Is that a cup?
It's anywhere between 3/4 of a cup and a cup.
And a
My
cup?
recipe calls for 3/4.
Okay. All right. So you kind of eyeball it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But once this is brown, you add the wine.
The wine. Yeah.
And you let that cook
Okay.
for a few minutes on the stove.
Okay.
So it's come to a boil, and now we add the chicken broth.
Yeah, the chicken broth. Okay.
Rob, would you get me the chicken broth?
I would be happy.
Thank
to.
you, dear.
Absolutely. This is your already prepared homemade chicken broth, right?
Yes. Pour it all in.
And all of it.
You want me to do it,
No,
or
I
you
can
got
do
it?
I can do it.
And in you go.
Okay. And all your goodies at the bottom here you want to get in.
Yep, that's
Okay.
good.
Perfect.
And then I throw in some rosemary and some thyme
Okay.
right in the pot.
And how long does that cook now, Lani?
This cooks for 3 hours. Once I put the chicken broth in, I need to bring it back to a boil. And when that happens, I turn it back down to a very low simmer for 3 hours. And
The product
the
is
final
this.
product gets something like that.
Wow. That looks
Yeah,
fantastic.
it goes way down.
So Lani, while that's reducing, you're making what now?
I'm going to make a white bean puree. I'm
Okay.
going to chop some onions. I'm going to put that right
In the pot,
in the
huh?
pot. And I'm going to chop some garlic. Do the same thing. Put the garlic right in the pan. It doesn't have to be super chopped because it's going to cook down and get pureed all in with it.
Okay.
So put the beans in.
Now, you did something with the beans before you got to this point,
These
right?
have been soaked overnight, which is what you typically do with the dried beans, and then
Right.
you can go ahead and progress with your recipe. So
Okay.
they've been soaked overnight
Right.
and rinsed them off, and then I put them in the pot.
Okay.
And I add about a cup of liquid. I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to be soupy. Give that a quick stir. Could add some herbs and some salt and pepper, and just let that cook for about 30 minutes.
Okay, and you end up with what?
Well, at that point, it ends up nice and they're almost mushy. You won't be afraid to overcook them because you're
Right.
going to take a blender and then blend them up.
And it ends up
And
being...
then it ends up like
Like
this,
that.
which
Wonderful.
is very much like mashed potato.
It is, it is.
So
It's got
it's
a
a
little
good
pinky
thing.
color to it, it's really nice.
It's a good thing to
All right.
substitute for mashed potatoes too if you're watching your carbs.
Fantastic. So Art, I can tell by the temperature and the time on the clock and also the wonderful aroma that's coming out that I think the rack is ready, right?
Smells pretty good, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been
look
in
at
here
it.
about it's been
Oh,
in here about 18 minutes
18 minutes.
for like a medium rare,
And what's the temperature?
400 degrees.
400 degrees, okay.
And now the key is you got to let this rest. You really have to let the meat rest so the juices go back into the meat. And
That
in
looks
10 minutes, what we're
amazing.
going to do is add the mustard
Right.
and the breadcrumbs, and then
Okay.
just broil the top,
Right.
and then we'll be ready to go.
So Art, while we're waiting for this to rest, as we say, okay, you have, I think a son is also a chef, isn't he?
Yeah, my son, Lani and I have loved food our whole life, and my son growing up around us really got a passion for food and became a classically trained chef and went to culinary school, went to Italy for 18 weeks to cook over there.
Wow.
Worked for Gordon Ramsay for about a year and
Really?
a half.
Gordon Ramsay?
Had a Michelin-rated restaurant, and now he has his own business called NutriChef, which
Wonderful.
is a healthy gourmet meal delivery service.
Well, isn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
So it's kind of following the tradition of the whole family as being as great cooks, if you will.
Yes, except
But he's actually taking it up a couple of notches, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
So the teacher is now the student.
Yeah. So you're learning new tricks.
I'm learning from him every day.
I love that. That's fantastic. So Art, this is like the perfect temperature right now. We have a medium rare rack, right? And what's the next thing you do?
Okay, so it's rested for 10 minutes.
Right.
What I'm going to do now is add the mustard, this Dijon mustard, and this both brings out the flavor of the lamb, Rob. And
absolutely.
the breadcrumbs that we seasoned before with the tarragon, mint, and parsley.
That's going to be
and garlic
unbelievable.
will
I can tell
adhere to
already.
it.
Wonderful, wonderful,
Okay,
wonderful.
And you know what? I'm a big believer in using, you got to use your hands.
Of course, absolutely. You got to dive right in there.
So we'll just press the
Now,
breadcrumbs
look at that.
down.
Look at that.
All right. And what we're going to do is put this under the broiler for about 3 minutes until the breadcrumbs
Just
get
incorporate
golden
a little
brown.
more, yeah.
And then we'll be ready to eat.
Well, let's do that.
All right.
Fantastic.
So here we go.
So congratulations, Art and Lani, on just an amazing, amazing meal. And I can't wait to dive into this thing. And folks, to get the recipe for what we prepared this evening, you can go to our website, which is www.greatneighborhoodcooks.com, and you can download the recipes and learn more about Lani and Art, and see some of the behind the scenes stuff that we have.
Yep.
So let's dive into this thing, because I can't wait to taste this.
I hope you like it, Rob.
Oh, it looks absolutely amazing.
Cheers.
Absolutely amazing. Wow. I have to get a little bit of everything in here too.
Don't forget the sauce.
Yeah. Mmm. Oh my goodness. Folks, it tastes better than it looks, if that's possible. But amazing. Congratulations again.
Thanks for coming.
Great.
You're welcome. Now don't forget to go to our website to download all of today's delicious recipes. So who will be the next great neighborhood cook? Well, tune in next week to find out.